Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tassif, and I welcome you all to a new live stream on my channel. My channel is about social and political issues, both domestic and international. And so if you are interested in discussing current affairs, what's happening in the world of politics, what's happening within the country, what's happening overseas, the different issues, whether it's healthcare policy, transportation policy, energy policy, public safety issues, border issues, anything and everything, really. If you are interested in discussing current affairs, current topics, um, election outcomes, anything, then this is the channel, my friend. So thank you all for joining. I see people are slowly coming in. As time goes by, hopefully more people will tune in. So if you are here, please hit the subscribe button and like this video. And we have something very interesting that we are going to be discussing today. As you can tell from the title of this live stream, it's called Post-Election New York, Big Change Taking Place in the Big Apple. So you may be wondering what kind of change is taking place in the Big Apple. Is it a good change? Is it a bad change? I mean, change can go in either direction, right? Sometimes changes take place and as a result we see improvement. And then there are other times when changes take place and things get worse. Things head in the wrong direction. So if you remember, and I'm sure you do, especially if you have been watching this channel, then you definitely do. We talked about, and we still talk about, the Biden-Harris administration. We talk about the last 4 years of struggles. We talk about how things got so bad. I mean, the 4 years of Trump, things were heading in the right direction, and then Biden-Harris came to power. Things started heading in the wrong direction. Things started getting bad. So the change from the Trump administration, going from the Trump administration to the Biden-Harris administration, things started heading in the wrong direction. So there was a change, but it was a negative change. It was a bad change. It was a change that took us from prosperity to crisis. And now there's another change taking place. Okay, we're moving away from the Biden-Harris administration and we're heading into the new Trump administration. That transition is taking place. It's a big transition. It's a big transition. And so post-election, here we are, right? We know the election outcome. Donald Trump is the winner. And so what change is taking place in the Big Apple? Let me tell you, New York City is changing. And after a very intense period of 4 years full of struggles, the city finally seems to be taking steps in the right direction. The city finally seems to be heading in the right direction, taking steps in the right direction. And obviously the question is, okay, what exactly do you mean by that? What kind of change is taking place? Well, let me tell you, New York City is still far from perfect. Okay, if you think, oh, Trump has won the election, now everything in New York is going to be great overnight, where all the crises, all the struggles are going to be over, and things will be amazing overnight. That's not going to happen. Change takes time. Any improvement takes time. So New York City is still far from perfect, but there are steps being taken to put New York City on the right track. Now, breaking news. Okay, so I gave you a long introduction. Now let me get to the main point. In New York City, the migrant shelters are closing. If you love that, share your comments in the live chat, my friends. In New York City, the migrant shelters are closing. The city will reportedly close 12 migrant shelters before the end of the year. A dozen migrant shelters in New York City will be closed before the end of the year. And we are very quickly approaching the end of the year. Here we are, this is November 23rd of 2024. Okay, we're approaching the end of the year. Okay, the holiday season is here. Okay, people are looking forward to Thanksgiving, and right after Thanksgiving, people are going to be looking forward to Christmas, New Year. So we are approaching the end of the year. It's coming up real fast, and the city will reportedly close 12 migrant shelters before 2024 ends. And 2 migrant shelters in New York City have already closed. Okay, these shelters, the ones that have closed, are actually 2 hotels that were turned into migrant shelters. And we saw that happen, right, in New York. We saw that happen in New York, where hotels were turned into migrant shelters. And it's really unacceptable. It's unacceptable. You know what happens when hotels are turned into migrant shelters? The remainder of the hotels, they become more expensive. It's plain and simple. It's demand and supply. So if there are less hotel rooms available for tourists, for business visitors, for other people, price goes up, right? Higher demand, less availability, price goes up. And so in New York, we saw how hotels were turned into migrant shelters. And reportedly 2 of these shelters, so hotels that were turned into migrant shelters, 2 of these shelters have closed. One is in Manhattan and the other is in Queens. So these 2 have already closed, but there are 10 more shelters that are reportedly going to be closing by the end of the year. Okay. 10 more shelters. So 2025, my friends, 2025 is when Donald Trump officially will become the president of the United States. Right now, we are in transition. We hear about the transition team, right? If you're paying attention to the news, you'll frequently hear the term transition team. Oh, the transition team's working on this, the transition team's working on that. That's because we are in transition. The Biden-Harris administration is still in power, but Donald Trump is the president-elect. And so there's a transition taking place, and we are moving from the Biden-Harris administration to the Trump administration. But Trump officially will be sworn in January. And so New York City understands that deportations will begin. New York City understands that deportations will begin. And I am confident that the new administration, the Trump administration, will be looking at New York City. Whenever we talk about deportations and ICE agents doing raids and catching criminal aliens, whenever we discuss these things, you got to talk about New York, because there have been so many reports from New York about illegal immigrants committing crimes. committing crimes, creating disruption, causing havoc in the city. Okay. I mean, when we think of New York, we have to think of, what an amazing city it used to be once upon a time. Okay. I mean, really, New York is like the capital of the world, right? I mean, everyone knows New York. Everyone loves New York. New York is this iconic city. It truly is. The New York skyline, iconic. Um, Everything about New York is so special, so special. And, when I came to the United States for the first time, I don't know if I shared this, I might have mentioned it. The first time I came to the United States, where did I land? Any idea? New York. New York. That's where I landed. So when I flew into the United States for the first time, okay, this was back in 2007, where did I land? New York. Now, any city will always have challenges. Any big city will have challenges. There's no perfect city. There's no perfect city. I mean, look at any city, any big city, whether it's run by Democrats or Republicans, any big city will have challenges, okay? And that's normal. Society is not perfect. A city cannot be perfect. But if we analyze the cities run by the Democrats versus the cities run by the Republicans, we will see that the Democrat-run cities have all kinds of problems, all kinds of lawless activities, all kinds of problems, financial challenges, so many issues, okay? The Democrat cities. I mean, would you agree when I say that, my friends? Would you agree when I say that the Democrat cities tend to have more problems? When we talk about, cities that are facing crises, cities that are facing challenges, cities that are seeing lawless activities, large volumes of lawless activities, we have to talk about San Francisco. We have to talk about Chicago. We have to talk about New York. We have to talk about Denver. Why? Because these cities are all run by Democrats. That's the common theme. Chicago run by Democrats, New York run by Democrats, San Francisco run by Democrats, Denver run by Democrats. We see all kinds of problems in these Democrat-run cities. And so, my friends, New York is an iconic city. It truly is. Lots of history, amazing history. And it's a strong city, but the city has changed significantly because the Democrats and their sanctuary city policies and their defund the police activities and so many other things that, their socialist policies caused severe damage in the city of New York, okay? By the way, drinking a latte, okay? So not a tea this afternoon, not a green tea, not a black tea. I'm actually drinking French vanilla latte, okay? So it's kind of refreshing, All right. So really historic city, iconic city, but New York has changed. New York used to be a city that people always looked forward to visiting, okay? Travelers from overseas and also people from other parts of the United States would go to New York, and especially around this time of the year, right? Thanksgiving and Christmas. I mean, New York is such an iconic city, especially in the holiday season, right? Uh, talk about uh, all the Thanksgiving events and all the so many movies are based in New York. So many amazing movies, very famous movies, in which they show the holiday season in New York. It's so wonderful. But that New York, that beautiful New York, has changed so much because of the Democrat policies. Okay, New York is now a hub for illegal immigrants. New York is now a city that is facing tremendous crimes. Uh, plagued with crime, criminal activities, and fraud and abuse. So many things taking place, and especially the Democrats. When you see what they have done with their defund the police efforts and trying to implement socialist policies, and when you look at not just New York, but also other Democrat-run cities where district attorneys, rather than prosecuting criminals, they just let the criminals go. Right? I mean, we know that in Democrat-run cities, the district attorneys, um, when criminals are arrested, the men and women in blue, the law enforcement officers, they put their own lives on the line, and they combat crime and they catch the criminals. But the liberal DAs, the liberal district attorneys, they just let the criminals go. They just let the criminals go. It's like get out of jail free card. Okay, it's unacceptable. It is unacceptable. And so over many, many years, Democrat mayors, Democrat city councilors, Democrat DAs, um, Democrat politicians in general, they have really destroyed, uh, to a great extent, these beautiful cities like San Francisco and New York and Chicago. But now it seems like things may be heading in the right direction. Okay, it's gonna take time, but things are changing. So 2025 is when Donald Trump will officially become the president, and New York City understands that deportations will begin. Okay, if you support deportations, please write deportations. And I'm confident, my friends, I'm confident that the new Trump administration will be looking at New York City. We'll be looking at New York City. New York City, as I mentioned, it's a hub of illegal immigrants, and New York City has been one of the largest magnets, okay, drawing illegal immigrants from all over the world. And when we think about illegal immigrants and illegal immigration, yes, the illegal immigrants, they enter the United States through the southern border, okay? And a lot of the illegal immigrants come from, South American and Central American countries, but illegal immigrants come from all over the world. People from all over the world, they find their way into Mexico. Okay, I don't know if they fly in or if they walk through the jungle and cross the wilderness, and they actually travel on foot. I mean, we see these caravans and we see people traveling on foot, right? But we see illegal immigrants coming from Asia, they're coming from Africa, they're coming from so many different parts of the world. And so it just makes you wonder, like, how do they get to Mexico? Do they just fly in and they cross the border and enter the United States illegally, or they just they travel through the jungles and the forests, and they make that whole journey by foot? I don't know. And also, uh, Michelle, I see your comment. Yes, they are coming from Canada too. Okay, so there are people who go to Canada, and they're from dozens and dozens of countries around the world. They go to Canada and they enter the United States through Canada. And I talked about um, I previously talked about the Swanton sector at the northern border, the Swanton sector. Um, and people from dozens of countries around the world, they somehow found their way into Canada. Okay, they somehow found their way into Canada, and then from Canada, they cross the border and enter the United States. Okay, and so the new Trump administration, what they need to do is to work with Canada in partnership and make sure that we're securing that border. Okay, because Canada is an ally. Whenever I talk about Canada, I say Canada is an ally. We may not agree on everything. I mean, no two countries will agree on every single issue, but Canada is an ally. Canada is a friend. Canada is an excellent neighbor. And usually when people ask me, hey, what are like the top US allies? What countries are the top US allies? And I've mentioned this before, depending on who you're asking the question to, you may get different answers. But I always mention Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. Okay? I always say that. So Canada and the United States, we have a strong relationship, and that's a relationship that we must strengthen. Now, having said that, let me repeat: we don't always agree with Canada on everything. As I said, no two countries will agree on things. And then again, depending on what administration is in power, there could be disagreements between the administrations, right? I mean, what administration is in power in Canada? What administration is in power in the United States? So depending on the priorities of different administrations, there may be disagreements. But I'm talking about the country of Canada, the people of Canada, and the people of the United States. We are friends. We are allies, and I think that's pretty obvious. Okay, um, and so I'm hoping that the new Trump administration will work with Canada to make sure that we are securing the northern border. Okay, and so the Swanton sector is something that I previously talked about. I think it's been a while. But lots and lots and lots of people from Canada entered the United States. Lots of people from Canada. Now, they are not Canadians. I'm not talking about Canadians. These are people from all over the world who found their way into Canada, and through Canada, they are entering the United States illegally. Okay? And so that is something that we have to stop. And Donald Trump, as he named Tom Homan as the border czar, he mentioned it. Okay, I think it was in that statement, or maybe in some other statement, or I don't know if it was when Trump named Kristi Noem, nominated her for the Homeland Security position. I don't know which statement it was. I'll have to go back and look, but I remember that Donald Trump mentioned that we have to secure the southern border, northern border, maritime, and also we have to secure our air. Okay? We also have to secure our air. We have to protect our airspace. We have to secure our northern border, southern border, maritime border, and our airspace. So big jobs to do in the new administration. But New York City is a city that the new administration will be paying attention to. a city that the new administration will be looking at, okay? Because New York City has been one of the largest magnets drawing illegal immigrants from all over the world. And why? Because New York City is a sanctuary city. It's a sanctuary city for the illegals. It's a hub of illegal immigrants. And now Donald Trump is promising that there will be mass deportations, which means that there will be lots of eyes on New York City, okay? And the New York City officials understand that it is time for the illegals to go back home. Go back home. Go back home. Vacation is over, folks. You got to go back home. Okay? The illegals who came to the United States and they came here looking for free stuff, those days are over. Head back home. Got to go back home. All right? The illegals, you don't have permission. You don't have authorization. You don't have a visa. Okay? And you know, the Biden administration will say, the Democrats will say, oh, the illegals are here to work. The Biden administration, they don't even call them illegals. They call them newcomers. Can you believe that? Newcomers? Oh, the newcomers are coming in. The newcomers, really? You think it's newcomers? Are they newcomers? I don't think so. I don't think they're newcomers. They're illegals. Just say it. Biden administration people. Just say it. Illegals. Okay? Don't say newcomers, all right? The newcomers are the ones who come here after getting a visa. Okay? All those people from foreign countries who get a visa, and they are either here to pursue education, they are here for they are here on a student visa, they are here going to colleges and universities. All those people who come to the United States for work, or they come here after getting immigrant visa, those people are the newcomers. Okay? When people land on US soil legally, and they go through an airport, and they've got their passport, and they've got their paperwork, they've got their visa. All right? They are the newcomers, and we love those newcomers. But those illegals crossing the Rio Grande, okay, sneaking into our country, going through the fence, climbing through fences. Listen, they are not newcomers. Simple, they are illegals. Okay? I mean, do you think that somebody, who probably went to a U.S. embassy in some foreign country and got a visa to come to the United States, would that person cross the Rio Grande? I mean, really, I want to hear from you. Do you think somebody, okay, in some Asian country, European country, African country, Middle Eastern country, somebody who wants to come to the United States, okay, let's talk about a foreign national. A foreign national wakes up one day and decides, I want to go to the United States, okay, for education or for work or for just coming here as a tourist, and decides, I need to actually get a visa. Yeah, should get a visa before going to the US. Let's go get a visa. Does all the paperwork, gets a visa, okay? Gets a visa to come to the United States, okay? Would that person board a plane and come to the United States, or would that person, cross the Rio Grande? Would that person cross the Rio Grande? My friends, I'm asking you. Somebody with a visa to come to the United States, would that person cross the Rio Grande? Decide, I better go to Mexico and cross the Rio Grande. Okay, do you think that's going to happen? Do you think they want to cross into the U.S. to the southern border on foot? Is that how legal visitors, legal immigrants, do they come in like that? With their backpack, and some of these people, they hold their backpacks on over their heads as they cross the Rio Grande. I mean, really, what a mess! What a mess! Did you see the images and the video clips of the caravan of people? It is unbelievable. Legal immigrants, they don't cross the Rio Grande. Okay, they don't have their backpacks over their heads crossing the Rio Grande. Okay, they don't have, like, legal immigrants, they don't have backpacks and they're just scrambling and running across the border. Okay, what they do is they come into the United States legally. Okay, now legally could mean that you're taking a plane and landing on U.S. soil legally, which is, I think, what most people do. Maybe you could come by ship. There are so many legal ways, but they don't cross the Rio Grande. Okay. All right. So we welcome legal immigrants, and they are the legal immigrants are the newcomers. When people come in legally, they land here. They go through the airport. Okay, they produce their paperwork, and you can see they got the visa. And what do we say to those people? Those who go through the legal process, they've got their visa, they've got their paperwork, and they come here legally. What do we say to them? We say, welcome to America. We say, that's what we tell them. Welcome to America. Welcome to the greatest country in the world. Welcome to the USA. Welcome to the United States of America. Okay, that's what we tell them. And we say it with a smile. Okay, we say it with a smile because we're genuinely happy when legal immigrants enter the United States. Okay, because these people, they respect our nation's immigration laws, they respect our rules, our policies. Okay, and that's what we say to them. We say, welcome to America. Welcome to the United States, land of freedom. That's what we say to the legal immigrants. And to the illegal immigrants, we say, vacation's over. Time to go home, right? Vacation's over, all right? We're not going to spend any more taxpayer dollars on the illegals. We're not going to spend any more taxpayer dollars. We didn't want to spend a single dollar on the illegal immigrants, but the Democrat politicians did. The Democrats sitting in positions of power, they used their political power and their government authority to spend billions. When you put it all together, 300 million in Chicago that we know of, the number could be much higher. Much more in New York and Denver, a lot of money, San Francisco. When you add all of that across the country, I don't know how many billions. How many billions? I don't know how many billions we spent on these illegal immigrants, but as I keep saying, time's up. You gotta go back. Gotta go back. We're not gonna tolerate this anymore, okay? Days of lawlessness is over. It's over. My friends, if you're watching this, please subscribe. If you subscribe, that'd be great. If you want to support this channel, all you have to do is subscribe and hit the like button. Okay, like this video and also subscribe. I appreciate that, my friends. Let's see. So the city officials in New York, they understand what's happening. The city officials in New York, they understand it's time for the illegal immigrants to go back home. And also, with the Trump administration, who that's going to be taking over power at the federal level, there will not be money coming in from the federal government to take care of the illegals. Okay, remember when these Democrat mayors, they went to the federal government and saying, oh, we need money. We're taking care of these newcomers, meaning illegals. We need money. Give us money. When Trump is in the White House, they're not getting a single dollar. Forget a dollar. They're not getting a dime or a nickel or a penny, nothing. It's not going to happen. When Trump is in office, these blue cities are not going to get a penny to spend on the migrants. And so what they're doing, in New York City, we see that they're closing the shelters, which is basically like sending a message to the illegals that, hey, guys, you're on your own. You're on your own. Okay? And by the way, ICE is coming. All right? ICE is coming. And I'm not talking about the snow and ice that we get in December and January. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, when I say ICE is coming, if anyone out there is thinking, oh, you're talking about the weather. Yeah, right. We know winter's coming. There's going to be a lot of snow. We may get a lot of icy roads. So we're gonna take bags of salt and spread salt on the sidewalks and salt on the driveway to try to get rid of the ice. No, that's not the ice I'm talking about. Okay? I'm not talking about the weather. I'm not talking about the snow and ice and the freezing temperature. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Okay, I'm talking about Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. ICE is coming. ICE is coming. And so these city leaders, by saying we're going to shut down the migrant shelters, they're basically sending a message. Guys, you are on your own. Illegal folks, you are on your own. No more prepaid cards. No more prepaid cards, okay? Prepaid cards for the migrants, those days are over. No more prepaid cards, okay? And no more free housing. No more free housing. By the way, who here is a renter? Who here is a renter? Or who here is looking for a new house? Is looking for a new house, but you're struggling because the mortgage rates are high. I mean, really, if you have housing issues, okay, I'm not saying housing issues mean at risk of homelessness. I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying if you are a renter, if you pay rent to a landlord, okay, tell me, has your rent gone up? Tell me if your rent has gone up over the last few years. And also, if you are looking to buy a house, but you're struggling because the mortgage rates are high, share that with me. Share that with me. Okay? And I'm talking about the US market. Okay? Also, if you already I'm seeing your comments. If you already own a home, you're a homeowner, has your property tax gone up? Share with me that. If you have seen your property tax go up, or if it's going to go up soon, if you're going to get a new tax bill and you know it's going to be a higher one, okay? Or if you own a home but your repair costs went up. So if your furnace breaks down, it's now more costlier to repair that. If you need a new roof, it's more costly to repair that. Okay? If you need to fix your windows just because there are cracks or maybe it's not properly sealed, it costs you more. Share with me your challenges pertaining to housing. Okay? So rent going up, mortgage rates are high, so can't buy a new home, or own a home but property taxes going up, or you own a home and the cost of repairs went up. Share with me those. Or your homeowner's insurance premiums went up. Okay? Yeah, share with me your comments, my friends. Share with me your comments. I want to hear from you. Okay. So some of the comments are, heard some rents go up $400 to $500 each time. Candy is writing, yes, property taxes up. Girly Nice saying, yes, from $600 to $725, no maintenance, no repairs. Okay. Saurav is writing, yes, $300 in the last 2 years. Okay. Saurav is writing about mortgage rates going through the roof. Okay. Michelle is writing about homeowners insurance. See, the reason I ask these questions is because housing is a huge issue in the United States right now. And it is just mind-boggling how housing has become such a huge issue. I mean, we are such a massive country. We have so much of land. Okay, we're not a small country. You know, I'm originally from a very small country geographically. Okay, so I'm originally from Bangladesh, which I already mentioned. Very small land, okay, not a huge country geographically. If you look it up on a map, it's a very small country, but it has a huge population, like 170 plus million people, but in a very small piece of land. So that's why in Bangladesh, you'll see a lot of buildings going up just because there isn't enough space to spread out, okay? I mean, of course, there are houses, large spread out houses, but the real estate market it's so commercial. People build up just because it's a small country, and the urban areas, you know, very congested. But in the United States, we have enormous land. We have enormous land. And we have hardworking people. We have technology. You know, and technology is supposed to make things more efficient. Technology is supposed to make things cheaper. You know, economies of scale. And so why do we have such a housing crisis? Why do we have such a housing crisis? Why is it that people's rents are going up? Why is it that mortgage rates are going up? Why is it that, you know, people save money for down payment, but they still cannot afford to buy a home just because there isn't enough inventory? And even if you can buy a home, you own a home, you're making payments, your mortgage payments on time, and then your repair costs go up. Your home insurance premiums go up. I mean, why are we facing all these challenges pertaining to housing? Housing is a basic necessity. Food, clothing, shelter, basic necessities. And you can also add healthcare, basic necessities. People often ask, like, is healthcare a right or a privilege? So some people will say healthcare is a right, some will say healthcare is a privilege. You know what I say? I say healthcare is a basic necessity. Okay? Somebody asked me, is healthcare a right or a privilege? I don't go into that philosophical discussion. I just say healthcare is a basic necessity. Okay? We all need healthcare. Some people need more healthcare services, some people need less, but we all need healthcare. So healthcare, food, clothing, and shelter. So shelter is a basic necessity. Now, shelter, housing being a basic necessity, why do we have such a massive crisis in the housing market? Why do we have such a crisis? Why are so many Americans struggling to afford housing? Whether they are homeowners or renters, whatever. Why should we struggle? Because you know what? The illegal immigrants, they're getting free housing. Our veterans, our seniors, the children in our society, young professionals, people in different age groups, they are struggling when it comes to housing. Okay? Even if you work hard, you do your best, you have 2 or 3 jobs, you sleep little, you work more, you're trying to earn money to stay afloat, to make ends meet, and people are still struggling with housing. And on the other hand, we have seen over the last few years how our tax dollars have funded housing for the illegals, the lawbreakers, those who are here to take advantage of our country, those who are here to get free stuff, those who are here and they have no respect for American laws and rules. They are the ones who got free housing while Americans continue to suffer. Okay. Hold on, my friends. Change the screen here. All right, so as I was saying, housing is an issue for the American citizens and for the legal immigrants, those who are here legally. For the legal immigrants, for the American citizens, housing is an issue. But for the illegals, it's not. They get free stuff because of these Democrat politicians who take our tax dollars and fund housing for the migrants. And, that's coming to an end. That is coming to an end. In New York City, they are closing the migrant shelters. And, really, after this 2024 election, after seeing how support for Donald Trump has increased in New York, the New York City officials probably, they got the memo. They got the message loud and clear that New Yorkers will not allow illegal immigrants and their lawless activities to continue. Lawless activities committed by illegal immigrants in New York City, it's not going to continue. The people have rejected the Democrats and their open border policy and their sanctuary city policies. Okay? So New York City is shutting down the migrant shelters. Can we say cheers? Can we say cheers? Shut down the migrant shelters, deport the illegal immigrants. Cheers, my friends. Cheers. And let me tell you, sadly, it's late. Sadly, it's late because large sums of taxpayer funds have already been spent on these shelters and other services for the migrants. So we have already lost a lot of money, billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars we have already lost. And that money cannot be recovered, okay? That money cannot be recovered. The years spent in providing free services to the illegals, that time cannot be recovered. Once you lose time, you can't get that back. Once you lose money, you know, that money is gone. But it's changing because Donald Trump is now the president-elect. The Democrat-run city of New York is now changing its approach. So, and if you ask me, I don't think that the city leaders are doing this voluntarily. I don't think the city leaders, they're doing it voluntarily. I think at this point, the New York City leaders, they have no choice but to shut down the shelters. It's like no choice. Trump is going to be in the White House soon. There's not going to be money coming in from the federal government to fund, housing for these lawless illegal immigrants. And so, the city leaders, they understand what's going to happen. Deportations. And so now they're shutting down the shelters. But let me tell you, if these Democrats, if they could fund these shelters, they would just keep going. Okay? If Kamala would have been the president-elect, then, New York City might have increased the number of shelters. I think that's what would happen. If Kamala would have been the president-elect, then New York City would probably increase the number of shelters. But now that Trump is the president-elect, New York City is shutting down shelters because they don't have any choice, because Mr. Trump is going back to the White House and Tom Homan is going to be the new border czar. Tom Homan is going to be the new border czar, and you know what's going to start? Deportations. Deportations will begin. And so the city of New York figured out that it's time to stop handing out free services and free housing to the migrants. After all, everything costs money. And with the new Republican administration that's going to be in power, there will not be money coming in from the federal government to fund housing for the illegals. And so, shocking number. Reportedly, the city has served more than 223,000 migrants since 2022. More than 223,000 migrants since 2022. Can you believe that? Let me see. I'm going to have to block someone here. So viewer named JD, okay, who was writing some bad stuff. I blocked that individual. Who else do I need to block? Who else should I block? Let me see. Okay. There was a viewer who was writing some bad stuff. Block that person. Okay, thank you. All right, my friends. Please subscribe if you have not done so already. Okay. The city, New York, has served more than 223,000 migrants since 2022. 223,000 migrants. Um, can you believe that? I mean, more than actually, not 223,000 migrants, but more than 223,000 migrants. The city could have served a lot of US citizens with the money that they spent on the illegal immigrants. I mean, they served 223,000, more than 223,000 illegal immigrants. Just think about how many people the city could have helped with the money that they spent on the illegals. Okay, but now that the America First administration is coming to power, the real work will begin. We will take care of our citizens. We will take care of our seniors. We will take care of our veterans. We will take care of the American people who are struggling, not illegal immigrants. And also, something very interesting is taking place. I don't know if you've seen this in the news. Reportedly, Mayor Eric Adams of New York City and President-elect Donald J. Trump talked to each other at a UFC event. At a UFC event, okay? So, Mayor Eric Adams of New York, President-elect Donald Trump, they spoke at a recent UFC event. What they spoke about, you may be wondering, you may be asking me, Tausif, we want to know, what did they talk about? Donald Trump and Eric Adams, when they spoke, what was the topic? My friends, I have no idea. I do not know. I wish I knew, but I don't. But I know that they spoke with each other at a UFC event. It's interesting to learn that they're interacting with each other. Maybe it's time for Eric Adams to end the sanctuary city designation that New York City currently has. That's what I have been saying for a long time. I have been saying New York City must end its sanctuary city designation. New York City should not be a sanctuary city. Should not be a sanctuary city. And so maybe it's time for Eric Adams finally to say, you know what? No more. We are getting rid of the sanctuary city designation. I've been saying that for a long time, but I don't know what Mayor Eric Adams will do. Is he going to end the sanctuary city designation? I don't know. But what I do know is that changes are coming. Big change is coming, my friends. Now, with all these changes that are going to be taking place, there will be protesters. We know that the leftists, they like protesting, right? The leftists, the left-wing activists and their nonsense ideas, their socialist desires, their dreams of communism, those left-wing activists and politicians, they like protesting. They like going out there and protesting. Okay, they're going to do that. There will likely be protesters. Actually, there are people already protesting because they don't like the changes. They want more funding for the illegals. But that's not going to happen. No more. The illegal immigrants are not going to get more funding. No way, because Trump is going to be in the White House. Okay, so in New York, changes are taking place. And now let's talk about Denver. Who wants to talk about Denver? Anyone here wants to talk about Denver? You got two choices. You could say, Tausif, we want to talk about Denver. Tell us what's happening in Denver. We want to hear some updates from Denver. Or you can say, Tausif, that's enough for today. We don't want to listen anymore. Maybe some other time. It's up to you, my friends. Do you want to hear about Denver? What's going on there? Should I tell you? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you A quick update on Denver. So in Denver, do you know who the mayor of Denver is? I've talked about this guy a lot on this channel. Okay, I've talked about this guy because the mayor of Denver um, is in the list of the worst mayors in the country. Okay, so if you look at the list of the worst mayors in the country, and if you want the list, it's my own list. Okay, so it's Toss if an arm's list of the worst mayors in the country, and that guy Mike Johnston. Okay, Mike Johnston, that's his name. He's on that list because he truly is one of the worst mayors in the United States. So Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, he is opposing Trump administration's immigration policies. Now, the administration is not officially in power yet, but we know what the administration is going to be doing. On day one, start the process of catching these criminal aliens and start deporting. So Mayor Mike Johnston of Denver is already opposing Trump administration's policies. He's saying that the city of Denver will continue to be a sanctuary city. Really. The city of Denver will continue to be a sanctuary city, according to Mayor Mike Johnston. Wow. So that means the city of Denver wants to continue to be on a path to bankruptcy. Continuing to be a sanctuary city means continuing to be on a path to bankruptcy. Okay? Yeah, so this is what Denver wants, according to Mayor Mike Johnston. They want to continue to be a sanctuary city, which will take them on a path to bankruptcy. By the way, the state of Colorado, do you know how big the budget shortfall is in Colorado? And now I'm talking about the state. Any idea how big the budget shortfall in Colorado is? Do you want to make a guess? I could give you a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds. You can tell me how big the budget shortfall in Colorado is. All right, a few more seconds. I'm going to give you the answer. The budget shortfall that Colorado is facing is $635 million. $635 million. Hold on, my friends. $635 million in Colorado. That's the budget shortfall. And that's the state. And the city of Denver has its own challenges, own financial challenges. So why does Denver want to continue to be a sanctuary city when it clearly cannot afford to do so? Clearly. Colorado cannot afford to be a place, that basically entices more illegal immigrants. Okay, because Colorado's Democrat governor, by the way, that guy. What will I say about Jared Polis? I've talked about Jared Polis quite a bit. Colorado's governor, left-wing governor, absolutely bad governor. Bad governor. So Colorado is facing a massive budget shortfall, $635 million. And the city of Denver also has its challenges, financial challenges. And yet, Denver, according to Mayor Mike Johnston, Denver is going to be is going to continue to be a sanctuary city. That is unacceptable. And Candy is saying, come on, toss a bad governor. Bad governor. I could use stronger language, okay? I could use stronger language. I kept it quite light. I just said bad governor. Poor governance. Poor governance. But yeah, the language could be much stronger than that, Candy. You know that. Yeah, really, I put Jared Polis. Like I said, Mike Johnston, mayor of Denver, one of the worst mayors in the country. Jared Polis is high up in the list of one of the worst governors in the country. That's according to me, okay? So my friends, changes are taking place. I think the sanctuary cities are realizing that as soon as Donald Trump returns to the White House, deportations will begin. So New York is making changes. New York is saying, illegals, good luck, you're on your own. We're closing the shelters, bye-bye. Figure it out yourself what you're going to do. So that's New York's approach, okay? That's New York's approach. And I still wonder what Donald Trump and Eric Adams talked about at the UFC event. I wish I could know, okay? But anyway, New York closing its shelters, saying, good luck, vacation's over. But Denver, Mike Johnston, I think it's going to take some more time for Mike Johnston to kind of, process the reality, process the reality. Like Mike, hey, Mike, do you understand that the Kamala Biden or Biden Kamala, whatever, that administration is transitioning and is the outgoing administration. Okay, so Mike, if you want to keep Denver as a sanctuary city, I mean, good luck with that. Okay, good luck with that. All right, I mean, really, what I want to see is, here's what I'm thinking about. Here's what I'm thinking about. So January 20th, Donald Trump gets sworn in as the president of the United States. And soon after that, I want to wake up one day and in the morning, I want to turn on the television, or just open up my laptop or my phone and check the news. And the news that I'm going to be looking forward to, the news that I will look forward to, any idea what news I'm looking forward to? I want to see in the news that ICE agents are conducting operations in Colorado. ICE agents in Aurora, Colorado. ICE agents in Denver, Colorado. I want to see the ICE agents go into Aurora, go into Denver, and go into wherever in Colorado they have to go and catch these illegal immigrants committing crimes. Okay? ICE operations in Colorado. That's what I'm looking forward to. Okay? I'm telling you now, I'm waiting for that day when ICE agents are going to go into Colorado. I don't know how they'll start the work, what the Trump administration will do, what they'll prioritize. But I want to see ICE going into Colorado, okay, and catching Tren de Aragua and all these other criminals, okay, gang members, catching them. ICE. I'm waiting for ICE, okay? ICE in Colorado. I know Colorado gets a lot of snow, but now it's time for ICE, okay? Candy is writing, please make our cities safe again. Exactly. When Trump says Make America safe again. Trump says that. Make America safe again. That means he is committed to making American cities safe again. Okay. So it's going to be awesome. And really, all right, my friends, hold on. I got to look at the chat window. Yeah. All right. Okay, my friends. So there's a lot to look forward to. There's clearly a lot to look forward to. And so I'll try to bring to you. Okay. Just blocked someone. Yeah. You can see I blocked someone right now. Okay. You're probably going to love the viewer I blocked. Okay. Yeah. We got to make some tough decisions, and that's what I do. I try not to block people, but then I kind of have to. Okay, they compel me to. So all right, my friends, thank you so very much. I appreciate you tuning in for this live stream on a Saturday afternoon. I'll try to bring to you the latest information, the latest updates, and share with you my analysis and my thoughts and my comments. Immigration obviously will continue to be a big topic, but there'll be a lot more to discuss on a lot of other different issue areas like energy. We're going to discuss energy policy. We're going to discuss healthcare, and we're going to discuss a lot more. So thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Thank you for continuing to support this channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking this video. And please, share my videos with your friends, family members, and your neighbors. With that, my friends, we will make America great again. I'm looking forward to Donald Trump being sworn in as the president, the 47th president of the United States of America. My friends, thank you. May God bless you all. May God bless Donald Trump, our president-elect, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you, my friends, and I'll be back again soon.